Hello guys. Welcome back to the channel. You guys seem to be loving this story a lot. So I decided to make the video longer, so that you guys can enjoy this even more. Make sure to like the video and comment your thoughts below. Also, consider subscribing so you don't miss out on these amazing contents and support me on my Patreon. Now let's start. Journey to the Land of Waves. Sasuke and Naruto's apartment. Naruto and Sasuke were sitting at a table, eating breakfast. Unlike Naruto, Sasuke had actual food to create meals, other than just ramen. The two of them were having eggs, and Naruto was reading some scrolls Sasuke gave him, using his Sharingan to speed up the process. Huh. So this is how the Sharingan works? I kinda just thought you turned it on and off like a light switch. Didn't realize it was more like a floodgate for chakra that activated it. Naruto said through a mouthful of food, causing Sasuke to take the scroll from him. Hey, you're the one who wanted me to read that. You're gonna get food on it, idiot. Sasuke told him, and shook his head. I thought you might eat like an actual human if we had something other than ramen, but apparently I was wrong. But you make really good eggs, I can't get enough. They may not be ramen, but they're still amazing. Naruto said as he shoved more food into his mouth, and continued to talk with his mouth full. Where'd you learn to cook, anyways? He asked, and swallowed the last of his eggs. Sasuke finished his own food, and handed the scroll back to Naruto. I taught myself once I started living on my own. I doubt I'd be alive if I ate like you. Sasuke told him, and collected their plates to put them in the sink. I really didn't think there was anything wrong with how I ate, I've never felt unhealthy. Naruto told him, before going back to reading the scroll. Sasuke just sighed. Didn't you tell me you heal fast thanks to the Kuwabai or something? Whatever helps you heal probably keeps your body healthier than it would be otherwise. Oh, heh. I guess that makes sense. Maybe I'll heal even faster if I eat healthy? Naruto asked, before setting the scroll down and standing up. Oh well, we should go see the old man before we meet up with Kaka-sensei and Sakura, though Kakashi will probably be a few hours late anyways. Naruto walked over to grab his headband, and threw Sasuke's headband at Sasuke. The old man dash. Sasuke started to question, but remembered what Naruto told him the night before. Oh, right, you need to tell the Hokage that you told me. Well, let's go. Kakashi may not get to the training ground until 2 hours after us, but Sakura will still burst our eardrums if we're late. Sasuke rinsed off their plates in the sink, and they both put their headbands on and left the apartment. Hiruzen was working on paperwork, like usual, when he heard knocking on the door. He finished up with what he was working on, and cleared his desk. Enter. He commanded, and the door opened to reveal the last two Uchiha, Naruto and Sasuke. Ah, Naruto, it's good to see you again. I hope you aren't here to steal the scroll of sealing again? Naruto sheepishly grinned, and scratched the back of his head. It was the one time, old man. But no, I just wanted to let you know I told Sasuke about the Naruto trailed off, thinking of a word to describe it, before coming up with the simple word of stuff. Stuff. Hiruzen echoed, though he could guess where this was going. Sasuke just removed one of his hands from his pockets and pointed at the picture of the Yondaime Hokage on the wall, before putting it back in his pocket. That stuff. It's alright, Naruto. I figured you'd tell someone you trusted. He said, and looked at Sasuke. Now, Sasuke, I presume Naruto told you that this is a secret? You can't tell anyone, or Naruto will be in danger from the Yondaime's enemies. I'm aware, Lord Hokage. Sasuke said with a half bow. I'd never put a member of my clan in danger. He turned to Naruto and smirked. Though, he is an idiot, so don't be surprised if he lets it slip. Naruto was still looking at the Hokage and grinning. Yeah, old man, he'd never dash, he started, and then turned to Sasuke with an eye twitch. Hey. Why do you always do that? We're both being friendly, and then you go and call me an idiot. Naruto complained, while Sasuke continued to smirk. Ah, well. We should get going. Sasuke was cut off by a little streak of brown and blue flying at Naruto. Boss. The streak of brown was revealed to be a kid with spiky brown hair, goggles around his forehead, and a long blue scarf. He was the grandson of the Sandaime Hokage, Konohamaru Sarutobi. He was staring up at Naruto with wonder in his eyes, before looking over at Sasuke. Who's this? Is he another student of yours, boss? Sasuke just glared at Konohamaru in response, and Naruto scratched the back of his head. Ehehe, Naruto laughed, awkwardly. No, Konohamaru, this is my teammate, Sasuke. Sasuke, this is Konohamaru, he's the old man's grandson. Sasuke continued to stare at Konohamaru, before asking Naruto, why does he call you boss? Well, why see, when I got my photo taken for my profile, Konohamaru ran in. I think he said something to me. I guess he expected me to do nothing to him because he's the honorable grandson or whatever. I just told him off anyways, and he started following me. He challenged me for the title of Hokage, and asked me to train him. He's kinda just been calling me boss since then. Naruto explained, and Konohamaru kept looking at Sasuke. Hey, boss, is this guy strong? Is he as strong as you? Konohamaru asked, and Sasuke grew a tick mark on his forehead. Naruto noticed Sasuke's growing annoyance, and decided to step in before he put the Hokage's grandson under a torturous genjutsu in front of the Hokage. Yeah. Remember when I showed you my cool eyes? He has the same thing. Naruto told Konohamaru, and Konohamaru started to stare up at Sasuke with wonder. Anyways, Konohamaru, we gotta get going. We've got to do ninja missions, you know? He said, and waved goodbye to the Hokage before dragging Sasuke out, with Konohamaru staring at them as they left. When the two Uchiha left the office, Konohamaru ran up to the Hokage's desk. Hey, Gramps. Do you think I could get eyes like them? He asked, voice full of excitement. Hiruzen shook his head, smiling at his excitable grandson. Sorry, Konohamaru, those two have special eyes. It's a clan thing. Have you learned about bloodlines in the academy yet? Hiruzen asked. Oh, yeah. Is that what those eyes are? Man, that's so cool. Does our clan have a bloodline, Gramps? Konohamaru asked. No, we don't. Hiruzen told his grandson, and saw his face fall. However, you don't need a bloodline to be strong, Konohamaru. Look at me, I don't have a bloodline, yet I'm the Hokage. He reassured Konohamaru. I'm sure you'll be a great shinobi. Really? Thanks, Gramps. A week later, mission assignment room. Come on, Kaka-sensei. We've done so many D ranks now, and I practically memorized that cat's movement pattern. Give us a real mission. Naruto whined, while Sasuke and Sakura silently agreed. They'd been going on D ranks for a while now, and it was extremely boring. The only good thing to come of them was from the map-making missions, which let Sasuke get used to keeping his Sharingan active for longer periods of time. Naruto! Iruka yelled from behind the desk, annoyed by his former student. You'll get better missions once Kakashi thinks you're ready. But Iruka-Naruto started, but was cut off by Hiruzen clearing his throat. Kakashi, do you believe your students to be ready for a C rank? Hiruzen asked Kakashi, and Naruto had to suppress his anticipation. Kakashi eyed his 3 genin thoughtfully for a few seconds. I'd say Naruto and Sasuke are more than ready for a C rank. Sakura, however. Well, if we're attacked by bandits, this should be a good wake-up call for her, he thought, and turned to the Hokage. Yeah, I'd say my team is ready for a C rank. Hiruzen started looking through the C rank mission requests, until he found one and held it up for Kakashi. How about this one, Kakashi? He asked, and waited for Kakashi to finish reading it. Yeah. We accept this mission, Lord Hokage. Kakashi said, and Naruto started, literally, jumping for joy. Hiruzen handed the scroll to Kakashi, and turned to Iruka. Alright, Iruka, go get the client. Hiruzen commanded, and Iruka quickly got up, bowed, and left the room. Woohoo! Naruto cheered, and held up a hand in front of Sasuke, who, reluctantly, high-fived him. After a few moments, Iruka walked back in, the client behind him. The client was an older man with small glasses, and reddened eyes. He smelled of booze, and was drinking a bottle. When the client looked at the group of genin, he looked disappointed. These brats? I hired shinobi, not kids. He slurred and angered the genin, mainly Naruto and Sasuke. Hey, you old drunk. We're shinobi. Naruto shouted at him, and tapped his forehead protector with his thumb. You're just a brat. The old drunk shouted back, angering Naruto even more. Oh yeah? Naruto asked, and activated his Sharingan to scare the drunk, making him flinch back. Kakashi walked in between the two, and looked down at Naruto. Naruto. Don't make our client wet himself. Kakashi told him, and Naruto deactivated his Sharingan. Kakashi turned around to face the old drunk, and gave him one of his signature eye smiles. Don't mind him, but I can assure you my team is more than capable of protecting you as you head back to the land of waves, mister. Kakashi looked down at the scroll, and read the name of the client again. Tajuna. Tajuna quickly changed his attitude, and looked at the three genin again, and looked at Kakashi. It's alright. I'm sure these three, and you, will be fine. Tajuna said, slightly sweating. Alright, then. We'll meet you tomorrow at 8, by the gate. My genin will need some time to gather their stuff before we leave the village. Kakashi told Tajuna, and left the room. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura looked at Tajuna one more time, and followed Kakashi out. Once the three had left the room, Tajuna let out a breath he didn't know he was holding. Damn. What's with that kid's eyes? He muttered, and left the room too, while Hiruzen had to fight back a laugh at the scene of a 12-year-old terrifying a full-grown adult. The next day, 10 o'clock at the gate. Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, and Tajuna were all waiting at the gate, Kakashi nowhere in sight. Naruto and Sasuke were talking, with Sakura following along the conversation and Tajuna standing off to the side, all of them annoyed. Where's that damn teacher of yours? He told us to meet him at 8, didn't he? It's 10. Tajuna complained, and the three genin sweat dropped. That's Kakashi for you. Sasuke stated, also annoyed, but unsurprised. Naruto just sighed. I thought he might actually get here on time for once, since we're leaving the village and all, but I guess not. Wait, so he does this a lot? Tajuna asked the three genin, who all just nodded their heads. Kakashi chose that moment to arrive in a swirl of leaves, orange book in hand. You're late. Sakura shouted at her sensei, who just gave her an eye smile. Sorry about that, a black cat crossed my path so I had to take the long way. Kakashi told them, and began to walk out of the gate, the three annoyed genin and Tajuna following behind him. A few hours later, far from the village, Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, Kakashi, and Tajuna were all walking along a path, heading towards the ocean so they could cross to the land of waves. Naruto and Sasuke both had their Sharingan activated, as Kakashi suggested they train their eyes by keeping their Sharingan activated over long periods of time. Naruto had no problem with this, thanks to his Onozumaki healing and the healing from the Kuwabai, along with his massive chakra reserves. Sasuke felt a slight strain on his eyes, but it wasn't major, thanks to all the time he spent with his Sharingan active during their D ranks. Naruto and Sasuke noticed a puddle in the distance, and saw the chakra infused in it. They turned around to look at Kakashi, who gave them an eye smile and told them don't worry about it just yet. This earned them confused looks from Sakura and Tajuna, while Naruto and Sasuke shrugged to each other, returning their eyes to the path ahead. The five of them walked past the puddle, and they turned around at the sound of chains wrapping around Kakashi, with two ninja wielding them. The chains tightened, and seemingly cut Kakashi to pieces. "Kakashi-sensei!" Sakura yelled, and Tajuna looked at the ninja, terrified. Naruto and Sasuke, who both still had their Sharingan active, saw Kakashi substitute himself at the last second and knew he was alright. "Come on, let's get the old man!" One of the ninjas shouted, and charged towards Tajuna, preparing to wrap their chains around him. Sasuke, seeing this, pulled out one of his kunai and threw it, pinning the chains to a tree. Naruto, following Sasuke's example, attacked the two ninja, Sharingan blazing. "Wait, do those brats have the Sharingan?" the other ninja asked, as he attempted to attack Naruto. Naruto dodged his attack, and pulled out a kunai from his holster, and knocked the ninja's blade away, before punching the ninja in the chest and sending him flying back. While that was happening, Sasuke was in a battle with the other ninja. The enemy ninja had him on size, but Sasuke was faster and had better reactions, thanks to his Sharingan. He was dodging all of the attacks from the enemy ninja, and stabbed them in the arm with his kunai. Kakashi showed back up at that moment, and tied up the two injured enemy shinobi, knocking them out so they couldn't escape. Naruto and Sasuke both deactivated their Sharingan once they saw Kakashi tie up the enemy ninja. Kakashi turned to look at Tajuna and Sakura, who were both scared still. They both looked at Kakashi, and looked at where they thought he died, only to see splintered wood where his body should have been. "Tajuna?" Kakashi asked, and brought Tajuna's attention back to him. "Is there anything you'd like to tell us about this mission?" Tajuna, now on the spot, was getting nervous. Kakashi was eyeing him closely, suspicion in his gaze. "What do you mean?" Tajuna asked, trying to play it off. "Well, when you asked for our services, you asked for standard protection. We were hired to protect you from bandits, not shinobi. It appears that those two shinobi were after you, which would make this a B-rank mission, at least. If we'd known about this, we would have had more experienced shinobi protecting you, and the mission would have costed more," Kakashi explained to Tajuna, who was avoiding his gaze. "Well, Tajuna started, trying to think of a good way to explain it. "The land of waves is a really poor country. We didn't have the money to afford anything higher than a C rank," Tajuna told them, trying to gauge Kakashi's reaction, but found it difficult to through his mask. "Why is the land of waves so poor, Mr. Tajuna?" Sakura asked him. "Have any of you ever heard of Gato?" Tajuna asked, looking between the four shinobi. Kakashi nodded. "Gato, as in one of the richest people in the world? The guy who's in charge of that big shipping company?" "Yeah, that guy," Tajuna confirmed. "Gato is, publicly, a very powerful tycoon. But secretly, he sells drugs and contraband. He uses gangs and hires ninja to do his dirty work. About a year ago, Gato came to the land of waves and used his wealth to take over transport and shipping, and basically took control of the country. He got rid of anyone who tried to resist his control. He's the one who hired those ninja to kill me, and it's why I asked for protection. Why's he after you? Naruto asked him, confused. Tajuna opened his mouth to answer, but Sakura spoke up before he got the chance. Because of the bridge. If Tajuna connects the land of waves to the mainland, Gato loses his hold on the country. She told them, excited to get something before her teammates. Maybe Sasuke will see how smart I am and he'll ask me to hang out. Sakura thought, and fought a blush. Tajuna nodded in confirmation, and Kakashi looked over at the two tied-up ninja. Well, this goes beyond the scope of the mission we were assigned. Kakashi told them, and looked at Tajuna. We may need to head back to the village. He started, but got cut off by Naruto. No. We accepted this mission, Kaka-sensei. We can't turn our back on their country. Naruto protested, and Tajuna looked at him with gratitude. Sasuke put his hand on Naruto's shoulder, and looked up at Kakashi. I agree with the idiot. We can't just abandon the mission because it's harder than we thought it'd be. Sasuke told Kakashi, and Naruto decided to ignore the idiot. Kakashi looked between Naruto and Sasuke, and then turned to look at Sakura. Well, what do you think, Sakura? He asked her. Oh. I agree with Sasuke. She told Kakashi, and he gave them all an eye smile. Kakashi turned back to Tajuna, and gave him a nod. We'll go along with the mission, but I need to contact Konoha so someone can come and get these two. Kakashi told Tajuna, and pointed to the two shinobi tied to the tree. The water was finally in view for the group of 5, and they walked up to the small boat that Tajuna had reserved. Naruto and Sasuke had reactivated their Sharingan for the walk there, but they deactivated once the mist started to get in the way. Tajuna gave a little money to the man on the boat, and they set off across the water. After a little while, the shore was finally in view. They stayed silent for the majority of the trip across the water, because they didn't want to attract any unwanted attention when they were at a disadvantage and couldn't properly fight, since the genin had yet to learn water walking. They marveled at the bridge for a bit, and then they reached the shore. The group of 5 got off the boat, and thanked the man for taking them across the water. Naruto and Sasuke reactivated their Sharingan, and they set off to travel across the land to Tajuna's house. After a few minutes, Naruto noticed movement with his Sharingan and threw a kunao into the bushes, and a rabbit ran out. Naruto! You could have killed that bunny. Sakura screamed at him. Sasuke sighed and looked at her, his Sharingan still active. Sakura, Naruto would have killed the animal if he really wanted to. He just wanted to see what was causing the rustling in the bushes. Sasuke explained, while Kakashi looked at the rabbit. At nearly the same moment, Kakashi heard the sound of something cutting through the air, while Naruto and Sasuke noticed the giant sword with their Sharingan. All 3 of them shouted duck at the same time, and tackled Sakura and Tajuna to the ground. The sword lodged into a tree, and a buff shinobi wearing bandages as a mask landed on top of it. Kakashi of the Sharingan. No wonder the demon brothers failed to kill the bridge builder. The shinobi said, and looked at the group from Konoha. Never thought the legendary cold-blooded Kakashi would take on babysitting. Zabuza Mamakai. The demon of the hidden mist. Kakashi noted, and removed the forehead protector covering his Sharingan. Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, protect Tajuna. He commanded, not taking his eyes off of Zabuza. Oh, using the Sharingan already? I'm honored. Zabuza said, and looked at the genin. Wait, those red eyes. Does Kakashi have 2 Sharingan users on his team? I thought there was only one Uchiha left in the leaf? Zabuza asked himself, before turning his attention back to Kakashi. It doesn't matter. There's still just genin, Sharingan, or not. Kakashi is the real threat here. Zabuza ran through hand signs, and called out water style, hidden mist jutsu. A chakra-filled mist flooded the clearing, hiding Zabuza from view. He removed his sword from the tree, and walked in front of the group. Kakashi cleared away some of the mist with his own chakra, allowing the group to see the area around them. However, Zabuza began to unleash killing intent. The group of genin and Tajuna had never experienced killing intent before, and especially not on the level of a jonin. Sasuke began to raise his kunao to his neck, but Kakashi's voice stopped him. Sasuke, calm down, I'll protect you with my life. All of you. I will not allow my comrades to die. Trust me. Kakashi told them, giving an eye smile at the end. I wouldn't be so sure. Zabuza said, and appeared between the genin and Tajuna. However, snapped out of their shock at the killing intent, Sasuke and Naruto immediately sped around and stabbed him with their kunao, their Sharingan blazing. We got Naruto started, until he noticed that Zabuza wasn't bleeding, he was leaking water. A water clone. Sasuke told Naruto, and they both turned back around and tried to spot Zabuza. I'm impressed, Kakashi. It seems that the boys have some skill with those Sharingan of theirs. Zabuza said, and appeared in front of Kakashi. The water clone pales in comparison to the original, but it's impressive for a genin. Zabuza swung his giant blade at Kakashi, who blocked it with his arm. It's a shame those two will have to die, along with you. Maybe, once you're all dead, I can get some extra money by selling those Sharingan? I bet 5 Sharingan would go for a lot from any of the hidden villages. The two jonin traded blows, until Kakashi was forced into the water, where Zabuza trapped him in a water prison. Zabuza then made a group of water clones on the shore to deal with Tajuna and the genin. Kakashi told them to run, but the genin knew they'd never get away fast enough to escape Zabuza. Sakura, keep guarding Tajuna. Naruto commanded, and raised his hands to form a single sign. Shadow Clone Jutsu. He shouted, and a dozen Narutos appeared around him, all with blazing Sharingan. Naruto commanded the shadow clones to charge at the water clones, and they were able to successfully dispatch most of the water clones thanks to their Sharingan. However, there was still one left on the shore, stopping them from reaching Kakashi. The real Naruto walked over to Sasuke, and handed him something. Huh, oh, I see. Sasuke said, and brought out a Fuma Shuriken. Shadow Shuriken technique. Sasuke thought, and threw the Fuma Shuriken at the water clone. The water clone easily caught it, but didn't notice the second one in its shadow, which headed straight for the real Zabuza. Zabuza watched them, impressed, but simply jumped over the second Shuriken. However, he was caught off guard when the second Shuriken turned into Naruto, and threw a kunao at him, forcing him to drop the water prison. He dropped into the water after throwing the kunao, and trusted in Kakashi to finish the fight. Once Kakashi got out of the prison, he engaged Zabuza again, this time over the water. He copied Zabuza's techniques, and cast a subtle genjutsu over Zabuza. In the end, Kakashi defeated Zabuza, and knocked him against a tree on the shore. Naruto was washed back onto the shore too, where Sasuke helped him up. How? Zabuza asked, staring at Kakashi. Can you see into the future? Yes. This is your last battle, ever. Kakashi told him, and prepared to go in for the kill, but he was interrupted when Senbon flew into Zabuza's neck, seemingly killing him. Kakashi looked up at where the Senbon came from, and saw a hunter ninja. Naruto and Sasuke ran up to where Kakashi was, and looked up at the hunter ninja. Thank you for doing my job for me. The hunter ninja told them, before grabbing Zabuza and disappearing. Once the hunter ninja left, Kakashi collapsed, and passed out. Sakura and Tajuna ran up to where Kakashi collapsed, and looked at Naruto and Sasuke, who were still staring at where the hunter ninja disappeared from. Is he okay? Tajuna asked, while Sakura checked his pulse. Sakura nodded her confirmation. His pulse is weaker, but it's steady. I think he just passed out. Sasuke and Naruto looked at Kakashi, unconscious on the ground, and noticed what was wrong with their Sharingan. It's chakra exhaustion. Kakashi overused his Sharingan, he just needs rest. Sasuke told them, and Naruto created clones to carry Kakashi, before looking back at Sasuke. Did you notice? Naruto asked Sasuke, and Sasuke nodded in return. Notice what? Sakura asked the two, as they deactivated their Sharingan. Zabuza wasn't killed. His chakra was weak, but it didn't fade when those Senbon hit him. Naruto told Sakura, who stared at them with wide eyes. Tajuna? Sasuke asked, drawing Tajuna's attention. How far is your house from here? It's not too far. We could get there in the next couple hours, if we hurry. Tajuna told Sasuke, who nodded. Well, let's get going. Sasuke said, and the group began to walk towards Tajuna's house, with Naruto's clones carrying Kakashi's unconscious body. Previous 5. Training and recovery. Next. Alright, this chapter should be better than the last one. I had to keep the confrontation between Kakashi and Zabuza more or less the same so that the setup for the battle on the bridge wouldn't be much different. This chapter gives me more artistic liberties since the part with Zabuza is already set up for the bridge. Also, a little note about Sasuke's chakra reserves, I can't remember how large they were in canon, but I'm putting them at nearly the same level as Kakashi. My reasoning behind this is because 1, IIRC Uchiha usually have above average reserves anyways, and 2, Sasuke, as Indra's reincarnate, should have more potent and just generally more chakra than anyone his age short of Asura's reincarnate, Naruto. He's also been training to keep his Sharingan active for longer periods of time in this, which would help his reserves grow. And, for Naruto's chakra control, I'm working off of 2 things. 1. Naruto's always been more of a doer than a thinker. Being able to see and memorize the way chakra is released with his Sharingan would speed up the process of him learning. 2. Naruto, in the show, learned water walking, although it was shaky, while he still had Orochimaru's seal interfering with his own, so I'd say that how much he sucks at chakra control is kind of exaggerated. When Jiraiya removed the seal, he was water walking perfectly. Team 7 and Tajuna had made it back to Tajuna's house late the night before. Tajuna's daughter, Tsunami, found a place for them to put down Kakashi so he could rest until he was better. Naruto and Sasuke noticed Tajuna's grandson, Inari, watching them, but they were too tired to care, and went to sleep in the living room shortly after they made sure Kakashi was alright. Tsunami found Sakura a place she could sleep, away from the boys, and they were all asleep within 30 minutes of getting back to Tajuna's house. Sasuke was the first one to wake up the following morning, and he walked over to where Naruto was sleeping, and shook Naruto to wake him up. What Ash? Naruto mumbled, and opened his eyes to see Sasuke standing over him. Come on, Naruto. Let's go check on Kakashi. He might be conscious soon. Sasuke told him, and started to walk towards the room Kakashi was in. Naruto rubbed his eyes, yawned, and then followed after Sasuke. When they opened the door to Kakashi's room, they saw him already sitting up, reading his orange book. Kakashi looked up from his book when the 2 Uchiha entered, and gave them an eye smile. I assume it was one of you who carried me here? Kakashi asked. Naruto nodded. Yeah, I made a few shadow clones to carry you here. Are you feeling better? Sasuke noticed you had chakra exhaustion, because we could see that your reserves were low when we checked on you with our Sharingan. Naruto explained, and Kakashi closed his book. About Zabuza Kakashi started, but Sasuke cut him off. We know he's alive. We saw that his chakra didn't fade away when the hunter ninja hit him with those Senbon. We couldn't stop the hunter ninja from getting away with him, though. How long do you think it'll take for him, and you, to get back to full health? Sasuke asked, and Kakashi thought about it for a few seconds. I'd guess about a week, for both me and him. Even if I didn't get the chance to kill him, he was still basically immobile by the time the hunter ninja got him, and I doubt the Senbon helped his health. Kakashi told them. How do you think we could train, Kaka-sensei? Do you think you could teach us some of those Sharingan tricks you used? Naruto asked Kakashi, thinking back to the fight between Kakashi and Zabuza. Sasuke nodded in agreement. Yeah, was it a genjutsu you put Zabuza under? Because, while I've heard of the predictive abilities of 3 Tomo Sharingan grants, I've never heard of a Sharingan actually being able to look into the future. Kakashi nodded at Sasuke. Yeah, it was a subtle genjutsu. I made him think he wanted to do a jutsu that I already knew, and then I just did the jutsu before he got the chance to. Kakashi explained. Though, I doubt he'll fall for that a second time. The Sharingan lets me cast and break out of genjutsu relatively easily, but it's not my speciality. You two could probably make more use of that trick than I could, though. It uses up a lot of my chakra, so I can't really spam it or make the genjutsu any stronger without crippling my chakra reserves for the rest of the fight. Naruto thought about it for a second, before asking another question he'd been thinking about. While we're on the topic of genjutsu, how exactly does that work with the Sharingan? The old man told me I put Mizuki under one the night I awakened by Sharingan, but I haven't really tried it again since then, except when I was threatening to put that cat under a genjutsu. Naruto told them, and laughed a bit at the last part. Don't they teach you about genjutsu at the academy? Kakashi asked Naruto. Hee, maybe. I wasn't exactly the best student, I was probably asleep or something for that. Naruto admitted to Kakashi, and sheepishly grinned at him. Kakashi and Sasuke had to fight the urge to facepalm at that, and Kakashi decided to explain it to Naruto. Well, basically, genjutsu work by controlling someone else's chakra flow and manipulating their senses. Usually, it takes really precise chakra control to use genjutsu. With your chakra, you'd probably be hopeless at genjutsu without your Sharingan. However, thanks to the Sharingan, we're able to directly push our chakra through our eyes and into someone else's, just by making eye contact. It's one of the things that makes the Sharingan so famous. Those with the Sharingan can subtly cast genjutsu without using any hand signs, so the target won't even notice that they've been placed in a genjutsu. Kakashi explained. My friend, I guess. Might guy fights me while watching my foot movement, so I can't place him under a genjutsu. Naruto's eyes widened a bit at that, and he activated his Sharingan. Oh. That's really convenient, you know. No wonder the Sharingan is so famous. Hey, do you think I could practice genjutsu on one of you? Naruto asked, and they both shook their heads. Sasuke activated his Sharingan, and stared into Naruto's. It wouldn't work as well for you to try it on us, that's another thing that makes the Sharingan famous. On top of being able to cast genjutsu, we're essentially immune to them if the genjutsu isn't an extremely advanced one, and there aren't many on a high enough level for that. Sasuke explained, and deactivated his Sharingan, followed by Naruto deactivating his own. Oh, really? That's awesome. Do you know anyone with high-level genjutsu that would work on us? Naruto asked Kakashi. Well, there's Kurane Yui, teammates Jonin sensei. She's Konoha's genjutsu specialist. There's also... Kakashi looked at Sasuke, who gave him a nod. Itaki Uchiha. Kurane is good, but you two may be able to escape her genjutsu thanks to your Sharingan. Itaki, on the other hand. Kakashi trailed off, and Sasuke picked up where he left off. Itaki is a master of genjutsu. Sharingan or not, you should never look in his eyes. And his eyes? Sasuke paused, getting confused looks from Kakashi and Naruto. A little bit before he killed my dash he looked at Naruto. Our clan, he showed me something with his eyes. They were different than the normal Sharingan. Instead of Tomo, his eyes looked like a shuriken. The night he did it, he showed it to me, again. But, that time, he put me in a weird genjutsu. It was torture. I think he called it the mangyeko Sharingan, and he told me. The emotion of thinking about it caused his Sharingan to activate, and Naruto put a hand on his shoulder. It's alright, Sasuke. You don't have to dash. Naruto tried to tell him, but Sasuke started to speak again. He told me I'd have to kill my best friend, in order to get the eyes he has. Sasuke finished, and Kakashi's eye widened. Wait. When Rin died. I felt something in my Sharingan before everything went black. Is that how all those ninja died? Kakashi thought, realization dawning on him. The mangyeko Sharingan. Kakashi echoed, and raised his hand to his covered Sharingan. Naruto looked into Sasuke's Sharingan eyes, hand still on his shoulder. Sasuke, you don't have to listen to your brother. There are other ways to become strong enough to defeat him, and I'll help you. You aren't alone. Naruto told him, and Sasuke deactivated his Sharingan. I know. Itachi is just so powerful. Sasuke sighed. I don't know how to beat him. Naruto stayed silent for a moment, and then his eyes lit up. Hey. From what the old man told me, my father was one of the strongest shinobi ever, and he never awakened a Sharingan. If he can become that strong without the Sharingan, we can become stronger than Itachi without the mangyeko. Naruto told Sasuke, excitement evident in his voice. Kakashi was still silent, and still had his hand over his covered Sharingan. Sasuke gave a small smile at his teammates' enthusiasm, and then turned to look at Kakashi, noticing his weird reaction to the mangyeko. Kakashi? Sasuke asked, snapping Kakashi out of his silence, and Kakashi turned to him. Have you heard of the mangyeko before? You started acting weird once I mentioned it? Kakashi lowered his hand from his eye and opened his mouth to speak, but he was cut off by Sakura barging into the room. Kakashi-sensei, you're awake. She exclaimed, and all three of them turned to face her. Oh, hey Sakura. Kakashi greeted her, somewhat happy to avoid Sasuke's question, for now at least. Sakura turned to face Naruto and Sasuke. Ah, Sasuke looks so cute with bedhead. She thought, even though Sasuke's hair was barely messy than usual. What were you guys talking about? She asked, and Naruto shared a look with Sasuke. Sasuke just told her nothing before turning to Kakashi. Me and Naruto need to ask you something later. When do you think you'll be good to train us? Sasuke asked, and Kakashi wiggled his legs a bit. Well, I'll need crutches, but the first thing I want to teach the three of you doesn't require much chakra usage. Kakashi explained, and picked up his orange book. Well, it's still really early. Tajuna probably has a pair of crutches around here somewhere, so we'll just have to ask him once he's up. We can train after we all eat breakfast. Sasuke looked a bit annoyed that Sakura interrupted the conversation they were having, but nodded in agreement. Sakura looked at the three of them, confused. Training? She asked, and Sasuke sighed. Zabuza's alive, remember. We need to train so we'll be ready to fight him and that fake hunter ninja, and you need the most training out of all of us. Sasuke told her, and Sakura's face of confusion turned to one of fear. Sakura looked down at Kakashi, then looked between her two teammates. We have to fight him. He's a jonin. I thought Kakashi would fight him. She said shakily, obviously terrified. Naruto shook his head. No, Kakashi will be fine by the time we have to fight Zabuza, he started, and Sakura let out a sigh. But Zabuza will likely have the fake hunter ninja with him. Me and Sasuke will fight the fake hunter ninja, and you'll have to protect Tajuna. He finished, and Sakura looked uncertain. I have to protect Tajuna? She asked. From what? If you three are fighting the ninja, what do I need to protect him from? Kakashi gave her a nice smile. Just stray attacks. The three of us will try to make sure our fights are away from Tajuna, so you just need to watch out and make sure that he's not killed by a kunao or something we missed. Kakashi explained, and Sakura let out another sigh of relief. However, that doesn't mean you can slack off on your training. Now, how about the three of you go do something? I want to finish this chapter. Kakashi turned back to his book, and continued reading. The three genin looked between each other, and walked out of the room, leaving Kakashi in the room, alone. Kakashi turned to make sure they'd left, and then muttered mangyeko Sharingan, huh. Tajuna's dining room. Tsunami, Tajuna, and Inari all woke up around an hour after the four shinobi. Tajuna did have a spare set of crutches lying around, and he gave them to Kakashi so he could get around without help. Now, they were all sitting at the table and eating breakfast. Naruto was making conversation, being loud like usual, when Inari finally spoke. Shut up. Why are you so happy? You're just gonna get yourself killed. You can't stand up against Gato. Inari yelled at Naruto, tears streaming down his face. Naruto, who was looking at and talking to Sasuke, turned to face Inari. Huh. I'm not gonna get myself killed, we're gonna take down Gato. He yelled back, and Inari slammed his fist down on the table in response. No, you're just gonna get yourself killed. You're just butting in, acting all happy. You don't know what it's like to suffer. Inari shouted, crying even harder. Sasuke looked over to Naruto, and could tell he was getting pissed off, and noticed his Sharingan activate from the anger. He started, but Naruto didn't give him the chance to finish. Naruto glared at Inari, his Sharingan spinning. Are you just gonna let Gato take over your country? Just gonna sit here crying all day? Do you have any idea what others are going through, while you're just sitting here in your cozy little house? There are people who have watched their entire clan be slaughtered. People who have lost friends and comrades. People who grew up without any kind of family, who were shunned by everyone they met. But they aren't just sitting around, wallowing in their own depression. No, they get up and do something, instead of just sitting there and crying. Naruto shouted, and Inari stared back at him, wide-eyed. Naruto deactivated his Sharingan and went back to eating, ignoring the eyes on him. Inari got up from his chair, and ran out of the room. Sakura, watching Inari leave, turned to Naruto. Naruto, that was a bit harsh, you should dash, she started, but was cut off by Sasuke. Sakura, shut up. Naruto was right, the kid can't just sit there and cry and not do anything. Sasuke told her, and Naruto finished his food. Naruto stood up, and looked at Tsunami. Thank you for the food, he said with a small bow, and then walked out of the house. Sasuke finished his own food, and followed Naruto out before Sakura could say anything else. After Naruto and Sasuke left, Sakura turned to Kakashi. What did he mean by growing up without a family and being shunned? She asked Kakashi, who had somehow finished his food without anyone seeing under his mask. Ah, you noticed that? Well, that's something you'll have to ask him, it's not my place to tell you. Kakashi told her, and she gave him a confused look. Kakashi got up from his chair, crutches under his arms. He turned to Tsunami and said thank you for the food, Ms. Tsunami, before leaving the way Inari went, heading out to talk to him about what Naruto said. This left a confused Sakura, Tajuna, and Tsumamai sitting at the dinner table. Outside Tajuna's house, Naruto was walking into a clearing, followed closely by Sasuke. Naruto stopped and turned back to look at Sasuke, who stopped in front of him. "Look, I know I went too far." Naruto started, but Sasuke stopped him. "No, you were right. If he kept going on, I might have ended up putting him in a genjutsu or something." Naruto chuckled a bit at that, and rubbed the back of his head. "Yeah, I'd be lying if I said I didn't consider it. Though I think Kakashi might have scolded me if I put a civilian child in a genjutsu because he got mad at me." Naruto stopped scratching the back of the head. He could tell that Sasuke wanted to talk about something else. Sasuke looked around, making sure Sakura didn't follow them out, and then looked at Naruto. "Did you notice Kakashi acting weird when we were talking about the mangyeko?" Before Sakura interrupted, he asked Naruto, who nodded. "Yeah, I was gonna ask him about that whenever we got some alone time with him again. Though, it can probably wait till we're done with this mission, since we really need to train first," Naruto told him, and then activated his Sharingan. "Wanna spar until Kakashi and Sakura get out here? I think I've got the style you showed me mostly down," Naruto said, and Sasuke activated his own Sharingan. They both got into their fighting stances, and sparred. After a few minutes, Kakashi and Sakura showed up to see Naruto and Sasuke both sparring, a trail of red following their blazing Sharingan. Kakashi was impressed by how much Naruto had improved since the bell test, and Sakura was surprised by how fast the two of them were. When Naruto and Sasuke noticed Kakashi and Sakura's arrival, they quickly stopped and walked over to the two of them, deactivating their Sharingan. Sasuke was a little dirty, but he was mostly unharmed. Naruto had a few bruises, but they were quickly healing and fading away. "Hey Kaka-sensei, Sakura, are we gonna train now?" Naruto asked them, and Kakashi began to walk over to one of the trees. "Since I'm more or less out of commission right now, I'm gonna teach you how to climb trees," Kakashi told them, and he was met with 3 faces of disappointment. "But we already know how to climb trees, Kaka-sensei," Naruto deadpanned, and Sasuke grunted in agreement. Kakashi held up a hand, his crutches still under his arms, and gave them a smile. "Ah, don't look so down, my cute little genin. I'm going to teach you how to do it without hands," he told them, and started walking up the tree with his crutches. Sasuke immediately activated his Sharingan to see what Kakashi was doing, and he nudged Naruto to do the same. They could see the small amount of chakra he was using to do it, and prepared to try it themselves. Sakura was watching just as intensely, though she didn't have a Sharingan to see the chakra itself. "It's a cool trick, Kakashi-sensei, but how will that help us in a fight?" Sakura asked, with Naruto and Sasuke still focused on the chakra on his feet. Kakashi walked back down the tree, and stood in front of the 3 genin. "It's all about chakra control. If you can master this, in theory, you could master any jutsu. You have to apply a constant amount of chakra to your feet, and you have to use just the right amount to stick to the tree, without falling off or being sent flying," Kakashi explained to them, and motioned for them to try. Sakura got it immediately, thanks to her innately good chakra control. "Hey, I beat those 2 at something," she thought to herself, excited. Kakashi looked at her and gave her an eye smile. "Oh, and the girl beats the 2 dojutsu users," Kakashi told them. "Seems like she's a natural with chakra control. Though she doesn't have nearly enough for it to matter in a fight, the way she is now," Kakashi thought to himself, and looked over at the boys. These 2, however. Sasuke has really potent chakra for his age, and it's pretty abundant, even for an Uchiha. And Naruto, his chakra is insanely large. Though, I doubt they'd be getting it so quickly if they couldn't see the chakra with their Sharingan. Naruto and Sasuke were having a little bit more difficulty than Sakura was, but they were still getting it down relatively quickly. They started by trying the amount of chakra Kakashi used, but that sent the two of them flying off the tree because of the weight difference. They then looked over at how much Sakura was using, but she weighed less than them, so they slid off the tree. After a few minutes of trial and error, they were able to find a good middle ground between the two, and could walk up and down the tree without issue. Naruto and Sasuke walked up to where Kakashi was leaning against another tree, reading his orange book again. "What next, Kaka-sensei?" Naruto asked, and Kakashi looked up from his book. "Ah, done already? Well, all three of you won't be doing the same thing." "Sakura?" he asked, and she walked up to him. "You need to work on your chakra capacity. Your control is amazing, but you don't have very much chakra. You should just keep walking up and down that tree, until you can barely move," he instructed her, and she groaned. "Really, Kakashi-sensei? What about them?" she asked, and pointed to Naruto and Sasuke. "Shouldn't they do that too?" Kakashi just shook his head. "No, the two of them have extremely large chakra reserves for their age. Actually, the two of them have extremely large reserves in general. It doesn't help to expand their reserves, but I'm sure they could walk on vertical surfaces for days without feeling the drain," Kakashi explained, and noticed that Sakura looked upset at that. "Don't feel bad about having less than them. These two just have exceptionally large reserves. The three of you are under half my age, yet Sasuke has reserves nearly as large as my own. And Naruto has reserves larger than mine," he explained, and Sakura looked a bit less disappointed at that. "Oh. Alright," she told them, and headed off to the tree she was training on. Naruto shared a look with Sasuke, and then turned to Kakashi. "Hey, me and Sasuke had an idea of a way we could help Sakura. Do you think you could find someone to train her once we get back to the village? Me and Sasuke both have you, but..." He glanced over at Sakura, who was just walking up and down the tree, apparently already feeling it a bit. "I don't think you could train her as well as you train us. We both have Sharingan, like you, so you understand us a bit more, but she doesn't have that. Maybe you have a friend that could help her?" Naruto asked, and turned back to Kakashi. Kakashi thought about it for a bit, trying to think of someone who could train her. "Yeah, maybe Kurane. She's teammate sensei, but they're probably trained by their clans more than they are by her. Or..." Kakashi trailed off, getting an evil look in his visible eye. "I'm sure Might Guy would love to have another student he can train." "Might Guy?" Naruto echoed. "The guy you said fights you while watching your foot movement? Why'd you mention him like it'd be torturous?" Naruto asked. "Well, Guy is certainly in." Kakashi suppressed a shiver. "Interesting character. He's definitely a strong shinobi, probably even stronger than me, but he's got a special personality. You'll see what I mean whenever you meet him," Kakashi explained. "Though, I won't force any training on her. I'll ask Kurane if Sakura asks for some extra training." Naruto gave him a grin. "Thanks, Kaka-sensei." Kakashi rustled Naruto's hair and gave him a nice smile. "No problem. Now, how about I start you and Sasuke's training? We don't know how strong that fake hunter ninja is, so I want to help you two as much as I can in the next week." Naruto grinned at Kakashi, and Sasuke smirked. "Yeah. What are you gonna teach us? Some cool jutsu?" Naruto asked, obviously excited. "Just follow me," Kakashi told them, and used his crutches to start limping away. A few minutes later, outside of Tajuna's house, Naruto and Sasuke looked at their sensei, confused. "Kakashi, why are we back here?" Sasuke asked, looking around for anything they could use to train. Kakashi hummed, and walked over to the edge of the dock, and then stepped over it, into the water. "Well, my little prodigies, since you mastered tree walking, now we're gonna move on to water walking," he told them, and the two Uchiha activated their Sharingan. This is harder than tree walking, since the water is constantly moving. As I'm sure you two can see, you have to constantly dash. Kakashi started to explain, but was interrupted by the sound of Naruto plummeting into the water. "See cold!" he screamed, and crawled back onto the dock. Kakashi rolled his visible eye. "As I was saying, you have to constantly adjust the chakra output from your feet," he told them, and Naruto and Sasuke looked closely at the chakra output from his feet. Sasuke stepped out onto the water, not plummeting into the water like Naruto, but his foot up to his ankle was submerged in the water. Naruto followed his example, and got the same result. After a few minutes of trying, and falling, Naruto and Sasuke were both soaked, but they finally got it. They were able to walk on the water, though they were still slightly shaky. Kakashi was sitting on the dock and reading his book while they were training. He looked up from his book at the two Uchiha, and gave them an eye smile. They were both looking at him expectantly, waiting for his next instruction. "Now, I want the two of you to spar on the water," he told them, and they both went wide-eyed. "Spar? On water?" Naruto asked, and then Kakashi threw a kunai right in front of him, interrupting his focus and sending him plummeting into the water. Sasuke, startled by Naruto's fall, also fell into the water. "Think back to my fight with Zabuza. Do you think I was focused on standing on the water the entire time?" he asked, and the two Uchiha shook their heads as they got back up onto the dock, and then stepped back out onto the water. "Of course I wasn't. I'd fall whenever he sent an attack at me or whenever I used a jutsu. I want you two to spar until walking on water becomes second nature to you," he told them, then grabbed his crutches and stood up. "Now, I'm gonna go check on your other teammate," he told them, and limped off with his crutches. Naruto and Sasuke slipped into their fighting stances, Sharingan active, and charged at each other. At first, they'd both slip into the water every time one of them attacked the other, and would have to get back up by using the dock. After about 30 minutes, they could trade hits for a couple minutes without falling in, and lift themselves back up onto the surface of the water without using the dock. After another 30 minutes, they were able to fight normally on the water, and even slide across it when they were hit. Both of them were sweating, but it was hard to tell because of the water soaking their bodies. When Kakashi showed back up, an exhausted Sakura was following behind him. They saw Naruto get a hit to Sasuke's stomach, which sent Sasuke sliding across the water, but he didn't fall in. Sakura was surprised to see them walking on water so easily, and Kakashi was proud of his two students. "Alright, that's enough for now," Kakashi called out to them, and they turned to look at Kakashi and Sakura. "Hey, Sakura!" Naruto called out, and ran across the water back to the dock. Sasuke followed behind him, but walked instead of ran. When Sakura was snapped out of her shock at seeing them walk on water, she noticed what they were wearing. Naruto had ditched his jacket and it was laying on the dock, and both of their shirts were soaking wet and sticking to their forms. "Wow! They're so fit. Even Naruto," she thought. "Cha! Ino Pigsa's gonna be so jealous when she finds out about this." Inner Sakura shouted. "You done tree walking?" Naruto asked her, and she nodded her head. "Yeah, I was too tired to continue," she told him, and Sasuke stepped onto the dock behind her. "If you stop whenever you're too tired, your reserves won't grow very quickly," Sasuke told her, and Sakura scratched the back of her head in a very Naruto-like way. "Well, we can't all have huge chakra reserves like you two," Sakura told him, and Sasuke just sighed. Sasuke pointed his thumb at Naruto. Well, this idiot has chakra reserves larger than basically anyone, and he still trains until he drops whenever he trains. Sasuke said, and Naruto grinned. Sakura stared at Naruto in surprise. Really? If your chakra reserves are so massive, wouldn't that take forever? She asked him, and Naruto shrugged. Well, I guess. But it'd probably take longer for me to become exhausted if I didn't use shadow clones so much. They cut my chakra in half, so every shadow clone kinda halves the amount of time it'd take me otherwise. Dispelling them also exhausts me even more for some reason and sometimes makes me pass out, so Sasuke ends up dragging me back home occasionally. Naruto told her. Though, more than a few times, he's passed out from the exhaustion too and we just wake up on the training ground. We've been using the one in the old Uchiha compound, though, so we don't really have to worry about anyone finding us when we do. Sakura felt embarrassed by her work ethic, compared to her two teammates. Oh, I guess I'm just not as motivated as you two. I've only ever really studied until I passed out from being tired, and she started, but was cut off by Sasuke. Well, you should really find some motivation if you don't want to get killed. Why did you want to become a kunoichi in the first place? Because basically everyone else who graduated with us has some form of motivation driving them to be a shinobi, even if most of them are just motivated because they're from shinobi clans and are the heirs to their clans. My motivation is to confront the one who killed my clan. Naruto wants to confront him too, and he's motivated to become Hokage. You'll need to find some motivation if you ever want to advance as a kunoichi. Sasuke told her, and waited for a response from her. Even Naruto was uncharacteristically quiet, as both he and Kakashi were interested in hearing her reaction too. Sakura didn't know how to respond to him. Why did I become a kunoichi? In the academy I always told myself it's what Sasuke would like, but I entered into the academy before I even met Sasuke. Sakura tried to think of a response, but she couldn't think of one that made sense. I don't know. She admitted. Sasuke sighed. Well, I suggest you either find one, or give up on being a shinobi. He told her, stepped back out onto the water, and turned back to face Naruto. Come on, let's spar some more. He told Naruto, who glanced at Sakura before stepping out onto the water with Sasuke, leaving a silent Kakashi and a contemplative Sakura. Once they were further out on the water, and out of earshot, Naruto spoke to Sasuke. That was kind of harsh, but you're right. I hope she finds motivation because I don't want to see her quit or get killed. Sasuke nodded in agreement, and then activated his Sharingan. Yeah, though I won't hesitate to tell her that again if she can't find any motivation but continues as a kunoichi, and I'll be even harsher if I need to. Now, how about we use ninjutsu in this spar? Could make things more fun. Sasuke told him, and Naruto grinned and activated his Sharingan. Oh, you sure you won't be overwhelmed by a group of water-walking Sharingan shadow clones? Naruto asked, held up his hands to form a sign, and created 3 clones of himself before charging at Sasuke. Sasuke quickly ran through the hand signs for the fireball jutsu, and launched one at Naruto. Naruto, seeing this, got 2 of his clones to launch him above the fireball, and punched Sasuke from behind. While those 2 fought out on the water, Sakura and Kakashi watched them. Sakura was amazed by her 2 teammates, and watched how smoothly they fought with each other. Wow! They're so skilled. Even Naruto, and he was the dead last. If both of them are that good, how good is the rest of our class now? Sasuke was right. Everyone in our class is destined to be something great. I don't want to be the only one who's forgotten by history. Especially since I'm on a team with those 2. Sakura thought to herself, and decided to go back to training, re-energized. Kakashi-sensei. I'm gonna go back to training. Can you check on me in a few hours, if I'm not back? I don't want to pass out and end up sleeping in the forest all night. She told her sensei, and began walking back to the clearing where she was training. Kakashi smiled under his mask as he watched her walk away. Sasuke may have been a bit harsh, but he had a point. I'm glad she found a reason to train, and I can only hope it's enough to help her survive in this world, he thought, and turned to watch the two Uchiha fighting smoothly over the water. Hey, Naruto. Sasuke. He called out, and they both turned to him. I think you've both mastered that enough, how about I teach you some new things? He asked them, and they both stopped sparring and ran back to the dock where he was. Naruto was the first to reach the dock, but Sasuke wasn't very far behind. What are you gonna teach us, Kaka-sensei? Naruto asked, excitement in his voice. Kakashi pulled out two small pieces of paper, and handed them to the two Uchiha, and was met with looks of confusion. These are tools to test your elemental affinity. You push chakra into them and their reaction shows you your affinity. I have a lightning affinity, so mine would crumple up. A fire affinity would burn, a wind affinity would cut, a water affinity would soak, and an earth affinity would crumble. Try it out. He instructed, and they both did as told. Sasuke went first, and his paper crumpled up into a ball, which somewhat surprised both Kakashi and Sasuke. A lightning affinity, huh? Uchiha usually have fire, which is actually the most common affinity in our village. It's really impressive that you can use the fireball jutsu so well despite it not being your affinity. Kakashi told Sasuke, who smirked. Naruto went next, and his paper cut in two, surprising Sasuke and making Kakashi smile under his mask. A wind affinity. That's actually the rarest affinity to have, the only living person I can think of that has it is Team 10 Sensei, Asuma. Kakashi told him, and Naruto grinned at Sasuke. Ha! Mine is more rare than yours. He gloated to Sasuke, who dropped his smirk. You know who else had a wind affinity? Kakashi asked, and Naruto shook his head. Your father. Kakashi told Naruto, whose eyes lit up. Which, now that I think about it, is also really surprising for an Uchiha. Man, whichever one of his parents wasn't an Uchiha had to have some strong genes to pass on those blue eyes and blonde hair to your father, and onto you. Naruto just laughed at that. Yeah, my dad's genes must be awesome. Naruto exclaimed, and then looked at the torn paper in his hands. So why did you have us test our affinity, anyways? He asked Kakashi, who realized he got off topic. Oh, right. Your affinity helps me know what elements you'll find the easiest to learn, so I can teach you the right jutsu. Your Sharingan is good for copying jutsu, but the strength of the jutsu will be dependent on your affinity or how much you've practiced the element of the jutsu you copy. Kakashi explained. Oh, so I'll find it easier to copy wind-style jutsu, and Sasuke will find it easier to copy lightning-style? Naruto asked. Kakashi nodded. Yeah, though I don't know many wind-style jutsu, since it's such a rare affinity. Kakashi admitted, and Naruto deflated a bit. However, I can still help you practice with lightning style. Usually it'd be ineffective because other affinities cost more chakra, but your massive reserves should offset the difference. You can ask Asuma to show you some wind-style jutsu once we've made it back to the village. With that, Naruto got visibly excited again, and even Sasuke looked like he was somewhat excited. Thanks for this, Kaka-sensei. Naruto shouted. Kakashi gave him an eye smile. It's no problem, it's kind of my job as your Jonin sensei. Though, I can't actually do jutsu yet, so you'll have to learn without using your Sharingan until I'm well enough to demonstrate the jutsu for you. He told them, and their faces fell a little, but they were still excited to be taught. Well, that is the end of this part. I hope you liked it. I was thinking of making the two brothers more powerful so that they can actually stand a chance against Haku in the upcoming battle. Well, Naruto did beat Haku in canon, but that was only possible due to Kyuubi's chakra. So, I thought having them learn elemental release now would be better. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And consider to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next part. Peace.